This is our inaugural EM Chats podcast. Now we even have merchandisers. We have our own bantal.
Oh, nice. Here you go.
Yeah, very nice, right? We have our own coffee mugs and all those. We're going to have this set up in our studio in the future. So anyway, so I'd like to welcome our guest, Mr. Sheikh Fahmy from USCSI. He's a vice president of, what's the department again?
Group Strategic Office.
Group Strategic Office.
Yes.
Wow, sounds huge. And Cristian, a student from Universiti Malaya. Yes, he takes economics and he's been in Malaysia for quite a while. Now, I think I have to sit a bit more. Do I look good? Okay. Anyway, so we're gonna have a few of these happening, maybe ad hoc, but every month we are definitely going to actually produce or actually have our own setup in our studio. You know, this whole podcast feature where we will actually invite universities to come. We're gonna react on some social media contents. We're also gonna put up some facts of the week. If you have anything that you want to share with us, definitely we could. Now, obviously, I am not Khairi Jamaluddin.
Oh, really?
I mean, I'm not that tall. I'm not that dark and not that handsome. And even though my name is Shahril, I'm not Shahril Hamdan. So this is the other Shahril. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about a few things, the things that we just launched just now. Now we're sitting on one of it, the podcast. And of course, we are going to talk about the other two products that we are launching, which is the mobile hub.
Yep.
And then also the quadrant.
Yes.
So maybe I'll just direct the first part of the segment. We have 10 minutes each to talk about first the mobile hub. So Cristian, based on your experience, maybe first you introduce yourself a bit to the audience, and then after that, just talk to us. What is your experience so far with the mobile app?
Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Jurang. So I'm Cristian Barbalesco. I'm a third-year economics student from Universiti Malaya, and during my time, visa is a thing that really pops up for students that just got to Malaysia or students that are staying here for renewal. So the EMGS Hub is able to keep students engaged to know when their application is 80%, when their application is 100%, and they don't need to worry about anything. So first settling into Malaysia is something that the EMGS Hub, the facelift that's received, it's able to address. And not only that, also issues such as how to get medical insurance. How can they open up a bank account? If they don't have a bank account, for example, they cannot get a residence. So those are a couple of the things that the EMGS Hub assists with and helps new incoming international students to come. Not only that, it's also, there's a small section that I really like, it's the EMGS Student Forum. So actually, potential students can ask questions. What it's like to study at UCSI, what it's like to study at UM. So this is some features that I really enjoyed about the EMGS Hub.
Do you participate in the discussion?
Yes.
Yeah.
I try to answer as best as I can.
Okay. You did talk to us previously. I think we had some previous chat about the hub. You did say that maybe we should do some kind of student buddy. What was it all about again?
Well, I think that the current student platform, it allows to ask questions. So any potential new international student coming to Malaysia can ask questions, but they cannot specify it to university. So for example, if I want to study at UCSI, I would want to ask UCSI students directly. Correct. What is it like if I want to take the AI course versus the computer science course versus the mathematics course? So I think that would be one wonderful feature to add maybe next year.
Okay, and it would be great also if we can platform someone who is very conversational like you to become some kind of advocates. It would be great for you to become our self-made influencer in our mobile app.
Thank you.
You could consider that and charge them.
Yeah.
Charge EMGS.
No, of course not lah. Cannot be. How about what do you think could actually how to benefit from? My voice cannot be heard. My staffs are telling me my voice is too small because I'm not Khairi Jamaluddin, kan? Come on. So, okay, not too high. Okay, so what do you think on a student? I mean, on an administrator perspective, how could this can actually benefit the students?
No, I think for the students, from the students' perspective, it's good because firstly, it gives them the assurance from hearing from other students as well. As you know, like what you mentioned just now in your talk, people nowadays believe more reviews than from the seller themselves. right? So if I were to want to know about programs or lifestyle or how students are in where you're from, right, Cristian? I said yeah just now because I'm from I was a product of right? So, so if I want to know, I'll ask the students in I say, okay, so how is it living there? How's the ecosystem? How are the lecturers? How's the course fee, right? And I would rather listen to another student than from the university's marketing arm. Because university's marketing arm, all of us, including me, we would say only good things, right? But if I were to hear from another student, then at least I'll hear the truth. You know, there are some pros to it, good points, but there are also some negatives. So I think it's a very fair and unbiased platform. That's how I would look at it.
And that would be great. More authenticity would actually create more attention, and people trust it more. Actually.
Yep, correct.
So it breeds a lot more greater expectations towards services and all those.
Yes.
I think that kind of conversation is very important.
And it helps the EMGS and it helps the country because then the student wants to study in Malaysia, but he or she has an options of many other universities, and then they will hear the truth about these universities, and then they will make the better decision.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we hope for all of the positivities.
Yeah.
What else do you think that could actually benefit if, let's say, we have this?
Well, another option also in the EMGS Hub is about jobs. So there's a lot of actually sector-specific advice on what graduates taking the graduate pass can explore, to be able to, during their 1 year here, to explore whether it's internship, whether it's part-time, and then perhaps have employment. So I think that's another area where there's a lot of progress, and the EMGS Hub helps to assist with that. And I think that's a big thing. As of now, I think international students do not stay in Malaysia, unfortunately. Many have to go back, and I think slowly, such as the Graduate Plus, the initiatives from the current administration has been good to be able to make sure to retain these very wise graduates.
Before closing, just give us a bit of your good stories about Malaysia, whatever your good experience that you perhaps want to share.
Well, I would say that coming up, we have the Chinese New Year coming up, and even after Chinese New Year, it's going to go until middle of February. We're going to have, then in March, we're going to have Hari Raya. So I think this type of culture cannot be experienced anywhere in the world, and especially in ASEAN. So if I was to recommend one thing, is to be not only proud to be Malaysian, but to be proud to share budaya dan bahasa Malaysia. Sebagai contoh, satu contoh. Banyak siswa antarabangsa datang di Malaysia, diorang belajar di sini banyak tahun, tapi tak tahu apa itu Tahun Baru Cina. Tak pergi yang open house kaum Melayu. Tak tahu apa itu Deepavali. So, kalau satu advice untuk semua kat sini, it would be to kongsikan budaya dan bahasa Malaysia. Apa itu congkat?
Nice.
Macam mana main congkat? So itu satu advice untuk semua. Kongsikan budaya Malaysia.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I don't even know how a congkat looks like nowadays. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Thank you,
Sir, Mr. Fahmy.
Yes.
So we talked about the SIM quadrant just now. Yeah. So we want to actually offer this as a service to the university because our primary mandate is to position Malaysia as the preferred destination hub, but without understanding, right, where is our target market, how to approach them, what are the potential of all of these markets. It's difficult for us to have something a bit more informative and a bit more segmentized and targeted in terms of our strategy, especially on the digital domain. So I have it here with me right now. Actually, I can actually project it. Are you guys projecting it? Okay. So it's here on my laptop. So I'll just show some of the features, and then after that I'll give you the laptop. You can play around with it. But please don't open other universities' data.
Okay.
We have this part of it. I'll just share a bit. I mean, on the iPad, it doesn't look as complete. You know, the numbers over here says 47 million, and then there's a dot dot. I will do something about how it looks like on the iPad. Of course, if we change it to different kind of landscape to portrait, it's different lah. But basically, I think you understand what this all means. And these data points and all those different country segments, if we want to actually target. But one thing that I didn't show just now, when I showed the master quadrant, I didn't show that we also have quadrants for 15 different kind of disciplines at the moment. These disciplines are actually determined by the study portal data. They actually put that one as part of the parent analysis lah. So let's say, for example, you want to look at humanities. Okay, so this is the potential in the quadrant of humanity, people who are looking for humanity programs all over the world. So let's say just for the sake of it, what are the colleges that does humanity is what? Language?
Yep.
Kan, languages. So we look at Pusat Bahasa. Do we have Pusat Bahasa? Okay, Pusat Bahasa Nasional, for example. So it will tell us some kind of indices in terms of where is the best target market for them, that they already have. You know, where they should actually be able to create more traffic, more kind of audiences, where is some of the challenging countries, and then what are the, you know, other things that are, you know, they need to do a bit more strategic engagement with all of this. What do you think, personally, looking at this, how can the universities benefit from this?
Okay, I think firstly I would like to congratulate, I think since Cristian spoke Bahasa Malaysia, so I'm quite embarrassed to speak English all the way. Okay, but I think I'll try to mix it up.
We'll take it.
I have, you have shared with me, I think last week for me to go through. Okay, I think firstly, when you look at the quadrant, from the marketing perspective, when we started, I don't want to give my age, okay, but when we started a long time ago, it was all a lot of gut feel. Right? Which country do you want to penetrate? Which country do you want to grow? Which country do you want to attack, so-called, okay, in terms of growing your student numbers? So it was a lot of gut feel, knowledge, experience. But there was no data. Data was not available. Everyone was actually looking at the trend of the country, the trend of the university, and the strength of your staff on which country that you want to go. So I remembered before when we travel, we used to call each other, like, some of them are here, Mr. Anis is there, Dato' Rosli, all right? So we used to call each other and say, hey, are you going to this country? Is this country good enough? And then we will try to debate, then we will decide, and if we are lucky, 50 to 70% will hit the right market, all right? But what you have today is something so powerful that you can make decision very accurately, one. You can be very decisive, two. And it can be saving a lot of effort, time, and money, okay, for the universities. So, if I have this data, if universities have this data, for them to decide strategically where they want to grow, what market they want to protect, what market in line with their job subject offering, then they should use this.
Yeah, cool.
Right? So I'm sharing because when I look at the quadrants, right, there's quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4. Basically, I believe quadrant 1 is the one with the highest brand exposure and at the same time the highest application. That's brand 1. So as long as you protect that market, you keep on doing what you're doing strategically, management can decide, okay, this market is what we want, so pump in the same money, do more activities and protect that market. That's quadrant 1. Then if I believe quadrant 2 is the one with the highest application but lowest expenditure of digital, all right, or exposure or brand positioning, right? So that one, you know that you're already hitting it right. Now it's either do you want to invest more money, all right, or you have to understand why are the application high, but as the industry, we didn't, our brand is not as strong. Is it because of alumni? People like Cristian, like yourself, you go back to your country, you tell your friends, and the market just grow. Then quadrant 3, when you look at it, are the ones that is good in brand exposure, but low in application. Then you can understand, okay, that means our brand is good, our country's name is good, our ranking or the universities that we have is very strong, but people are not applying. So then you can understand, okay, wait, that means is it because we get the recognition from the government, however, the students are not buying it. Then you have to go on ground. Right? A lot of on ground activation, then you have to start to think about what can your team do to penetrate the market. So that's what all universities can do, right? And then if you go into quadrant 4, then I leave it to the management of the university. Whether do you actually want to invest or do you want to put it under phase 2, that you say, I'll focus on quadrant 1, 2, and 3 first. Phase 4 is our next step.
Yeah.
That's strategic thinking, right? So that's
Exactly.
how powerful the tool is. Yeah.
It's one thing that when just sifting through the data, I see the ones that actually your quadrant 2 and 3 terbalik.
Mixed. Oh, sorry.
But,
Yeah.
The one that we consider as potential market but has not actually been granted enough exposure.
Yeah.
I think one of it is we see a lot of Syria, Yemen, Palestine there.
Yeah.
But because we provide scholarships, we
Correct.
we get people to come.
And it's G2G.
Yeah, G2G. Maybe some university-specific engagement with some of these countries to actually get the students or out of the goodness of their hearts. But we ultimately need to create advocates from these countries to actually pull them all the way up to quadrant 1. Ultimately, we want everyone to be in quadrant 1.
Yes.
And then also we don't want to get trapped in an echo chamber where we solicit advice from one particular person who says everything that as if this person knows everything, but with nothing to provide that kind of sanity check. So I think that is part of the ultimate objective that.
And I think to share, the quadrant results will differ with different universities.
Definitely.
Right? Yeah. Because some people are strong in certain subjects, some people are
Exactly.
strong in certain countries, then some people have different strategic initiative to move forward. So certain countries certain universities prefer to play this market. So the quadrant will change, but is how it can be customized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True.
So that's how I feel is very, very useful.
Yeah, I'm glad that you find value in it. We are providing this again, just as an iteration, as a service that we will actually provide to the universities.
But it's not for free, is it?
We'll talk about that later. But we would like to invite universities to come, and then we will do some kind of either a conversation or maybe what's the word? I can't find the word here. It's there. Consultancy, so for lack of, I don't know why. So we would actually provide that kind of consultancy on the basis of the needs. If you have any perennial questions that you have all the while in terms of marketing strategy, whether you're doing it right, we will actually be able to help you. We also have other data points to support that as well. Now we are actually getting it from just study portals, but also social media engagement, from our social visitation and all those. All of these would in the end make that data a bit more harmonized, a bit more big. You want to try and play around with it? Yeah, why not?
So I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe not that intuitive unless we get grant some training.
Yeah.
Some proper training. But I'm surprised, from this, we know that there's a lot of traffic from Scandinavian countries, from Europe, from Japan, even from the east coast of the United States. So there are actually audiences or people who are actually considering Malaysia as a place for them to actually study. So some of these countries that we think are very far-fetched might actually not really be that far-fetched.
Yeah, because just now when you showed the example of Japan, right? What I saw was it can be broken up into 3 different big cities, right? You started with Tokyo, then you have Osaka, and I think Kyoto, then there's one town down south, right?
Yeah.
So if any university is targeting Japan and wants to know where the interest is coming from, those are the 3 big cities that you need to go.
True.
Right? And then you can target, and you can even look what programs are they searching for.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Right? And then you can, so when you want to go there, when you want to travel there, you can even bring your faculty members of that particular program to that particular city, right? And then it will be more impactful. Rather than people shooting from the hip and hoping you'll hit someone. No, but this tells you everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
True.
Yep.
So I think, is there any concluding statements that you want to give, any of you, before we actually end this podcast session?
The Cristian?
No? Cristian? Cakap bahasa Melayu pun okey. No?
Terima kasih
Please.
kepada
Okay.
EMGS, kepada Encik Syarul, kepada semua untuk peluang hari ini. So I'm very thankful. I sudah tinggal di sini 4 tahun. So mungkin tahun depan akan habis degree dekat UM, and I'm very very thankful to the EMGS team for today. And I think it's a big opportunity to use alumni, especially from countries such as Indonesia, to utilize them to be able to market it, because it's a huge market. So I really think there's a lot of potential in Central Asia and also Middle East. I think these are 2 big markets that are still untapped relatively to East Asia. So I really think it's a bright future here for 2025 with the ASEAN chairmanship, with ASEAN GMs. That one looked like a wonderful program, much like Europe's Erasmus.
Well said.
and also visit Malaysia 2026. So it's a bright future for Malaysia.
Well
Thank you
said.
for
You
having
want to
me.
do your PhD or your master's?
Maybe. Kalau ada kerja, boleh.
Or getting married or something. Sheikh Fahmy, anything you
No.
want to conclude?
I think firstly, I would like to congratulate EMGS for coming out with this initiative to actually grow Malaysian education globally.
Yeah.
I think this is something that we have to work in synergy between the universities and EMGS. So with this kind of platforms, I think EMGS and the universities can work well together, and that's where we can elevate and grow to reach the target number of students,
Definitely.
right? Yeah.
So before we end, I have a few gifts for you. This is
Okay.
maybe
Thank
can pass
you.
it over to
Thank you.
Cristian.
Thank you. Thank you.
And this is for okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry. So hopefully that this session actually grants some insights. Hopefully that in the end you will also feel excited to join our future podcasts. And before we end, thanks so much for attending, and good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.